We have here today with us Kwan Yin Sham, live from Hong Kong. Hello, welcome.
Hello, hello,
Nice
hello.
to have you here. Hello.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
I heard I can call you Ason or Ason,
Anson,
right?
yes, Anson.
Anson.
Yeah.
Okay, that's easier for me to pronounce, Anson. It's actually the middle of the night in Hong Kong, so thank you very much for staying up and sharing this time with us and exchange a bit about your movie. So you say about the kingdom of man that it is actually telling the story of your city, which is Hong Kong, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So could you tell us a little bit about that, a little bit more? Because in the movie we don't see a city, but you made a statement, I read about the movie, that it is telling the story of Hong Kong. So.
Yeah, I think this story actually I made in 2017, I guess, around that time. And that was the time that we have gone through a social movement in 2014, and people kind of think that was a failure. And that failure leads to some depression or some kind of bad emotion in my city. But because of that, people tends to not involve in uh, anything that is relatively political or fighting against the authority. So they tends to live their everyday life like always, but in their heart they feel like their freedom is kind of being taken from the government or the authority. So that emotion is, although at that time people living their daily routines like normal, and things is like as the film title, Kingdom of Man, a land for people to peacefully live. But it is just the surface of the story. Actually, in our mind, we think that some kind of freedom is being taken, and we have no way to get it back. And this is the emotion of my city at that time. So actually, this script is based on this emotion, and I found my friends to share their views on this topic, and we just devised this script together.
And it's also based, if I understand well, on let's say a figure, an ancient figure of the admiral. What's his name? Sorry, the admiral.
Zheng He.
Zheng He.
Yeah.
So was it that in 2017 when you made that, had the idea for the film, was it that emotion you just described inspired you to work with this story or with this history figure? Or was it the other way around, that you had maybe the idea already to work with this theme, and then the situation in your city triggered that you had to make that movie? Can you say something about that? What gave the spark?
At that time, actually, it's the emotion first, and it kind of related to my background a little bit, because when I was making this film, I was in the film school, and before film school, I was working in a theater company for like a year as an understudy. So I met those friends, the actors on the screen are all my friends I met that time actually, and. When we worked together in a theater company, we read lots of theater's screenplays, theater's scripts, and one of them is this one from Mr. Kwon from Singapore. So his story actually strikes me a lot because of the emotion that I'm having at that moment with my friends, and we read the script. We think this is very related to us and resonates to us. So let's try make something out of it. And that was the moment we decided to work together, and we just read the script and add our own interpretation on that, and we organize, we write in this format, in this screenplay format. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You also say about your movie that it is an experimental short movie, and that you integrate the creative process of contemporary theater art. So I was wondering, what does that mean for you? What is contemporary theater art in filmmaking? And does it include also contemporary dance? Because you say actors, but you work with movement. So what is this term for you, contemporary theater art? And how do you approach working with dance, working with movement, with you call them actors, but they're also dancing. How is that? How is your approach to movement in filmmaking?
Yeah, actually, contemporary theater art sounds so big for me, actually. But at the same time, I can't find a word to describe this work, because at that time I was in the film school. I have to admit I know nothing about art, or so this kind of bigger terms that scares me. But at the same time, it's not dance, it's not theater either. So I have a struggle to use what kind of words to describe this. So, and because I work with I say actors because they are a lot trained in dance training, and me, I do not have any dance training also, and I am not a choreographer. I'm a film school student. But when we work in the theater company, we explore a new form of, for me, it's a new form of theater, is a physical theater. Like the director of that theater company, he actually trained it in a system called Chaque Le Corps in France, and that is a movement and theater training for the actors. And when I know about this, I think it's quite interesting for me to put that on screen. And although I don't have any experience in choreography, I try to implement these skills that I witness and I learn from the theater companies to what my study is filmmaking. And so basically, the work was created collaboratively with my actors. We put input ideas, and we try and rehearse for few days, not a long period, because out of budget we are, but we can discuss together for that short period of time and try to figure out how to work on this. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, for example, the scene where the two men have the duet with the cigarette, did you improvise on the location and then you start to figure out, or was it like, did you write a script and then the actors started to experiment with that? How did, for example, that scene, how did it come to life?
Actually, we have the script, and because the script is simply some easy movement discussion, but when it execute in a real space, it takes a lot more efforts to translate it into a real movement. And we because we are all first timer, and we are kind of can't figure it out at the very first beginning. But soon we discovered we have a common starting ground. We know about the dramatic conflicts of the scene because we wrote the script. So we just figure out what kind of movement can express the thoughts and the intention the characters wants at that moment. And it's a very script very much based on the script. And when we start from that, and we just find out we can turn some realistic movement that express their emotions into more choreographed movements. So we just figure out in that way, and rehearse and try and we run again and again, and we refine the result.
Yeah, so you first had the content, and then you started to look for the movement, right?
Yeah.
The location, how did you find it? Was it really an old prison?
No. Actually, it's a old school, abandoned school.
Okay.
Yes, and it has some ghost stories that scares the crews all the time because it's abandoned for the long time. Yeah, and but we did it anyway.
So how long did you shoot on the location?
For the shoot was 3 days, as I remember. 3 days. Yeah.
Okay, we have a question from the audience. Do you get government funding for this kind of art movies?
No. Some of the fundings are from the school where I was in the film school, and they support different kind of movies, and they support the students to make their own movies. So some of the equipments and connection, like you see the credit list is quite long, but actually they are all my classmates. We are studying in the same class, and we go to shoot this movie after class. Yeah. Okay. So this is the support that the school kind of provide us, but government fund, I at that time it might be possible to get government fund, but now it's different. Yeah.
Okay, now it's not possible.
Most likely not possible. Okay. Yeah.
But you're working on new movies, right? After The Kingdom of Man, you made other movies, or are you preparing also a movie at the moment? And you don't have funding for it?
At the moment, I'm preparing for the movie. I'm seeking for fundings, but I don't think I won't have any funding because actually in Hong Kong there's quite lots of passionate producers. They want Hong Kong filmmakers to make their own films, and especially in this tough period for the whole world. Some of them are still trying their best to put our movies, Hong Kong movies, to the world, and it is more difficult than before, both politically and both the society and the pandemic. These kind of things are actually affecting this process. But I think there are quite a lot of passionate people who wanted us to continue our creative process and put our films to the world.
Okay, I hope you find ways to make more movies.
Thank you.
I was wondering, The Kingdom of Man, telling the story of Hong Kong for you. There were only men in the movie. The movie industry is known also that there are very few women film directors. Do you think The Kingdom of Women would be a movie also to make? And are there women in the film making school in Hong Kong?
Actually, I didn't think about the gender, because eunuch in this story is it means the man in the ancient time. They they castor themselves to work in yes, castration, yes, and they work with the emperor, and this is the kind of the tradition and our impression about this story. So we work with men for actors on this time, and I think in Hong Kong we don't eliminate women in movie. Of course, we actually, my classmates, there are quite a lot of women directors, and they are great, and they are, I would say, better than me, and they work a lot of films, and actually some instructors and some producers, they are women. They love. They make a lot of great movie, and they don't they doesn't seems to be awesome as men. I don't think so. So I think in Hong Kong the situation is very, I would say, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, there is one more question from the audience. How would you describe your artistic signature, your artistic style?
Oh, this is a very difficult question. Style. I can't actually find the words to one single word to describe the signature, but there's a common elements in my films, my different films. So when I want to symbolize something, I usually doesn't show their face, and I myself did not do it consciously. But once just my friends tell me, "Oh, why are your films always some characters faceless, and why is this?" And I start to think about that, and I think the expressions of human facial expressions is limited our imagination, and because we see it every day, we assume when we see that face, that's expressions, it means something. But when it's faces, it creates more space for imaginations. Like, what is the light bulb on the head? Why? I don't know why, but you want to know why, and that is my approach to grab people attentions. And for me, also I am not very familiar with realistic narration film, and I struggle with that because I think the realism is very hard to handle. What is reality, and that is a very big question for me again. So that is hard. But when it goes to surreal or more impressionist style, and it actually tells the true feeling of me more than doing a realistic narrative film. So maybe that's what I can say about the style. Not the word, a bit long, but yeah. Thank you.
So that facial expression, is that also the light bulb faces you use in the Kingdom of Man? Yeah, is it connected to play with that? That you, instead of a face, we see the light bulb? Or is it, for you, was it the image of, that's how I received it in the movie, that it's a kind of the past or the memories of the past living in the brain or in the body?
Yeah, I won't. I don't want to tell my original intention. I think it's good to all of you to have your own interpretation on that, and I love your interpretation. I love people telling me about that. Yes, I love people telling me about what they think about my film, rather than I tell them this is what I mean, this is what I mean, this is what I mean. Yeah.
Okay, Anson, thank you very much for sharing with
Thank you,
us.
thank you.
And for being with us in the middle of the night. So I wish you very good sleep now and a good rest of the night. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you.
See you.
Yes. This program you just saw is also this week still to see on demand at ARTHOUSE KINOS with the streaming platform myfilm.ch. And if you audience have after maybe some more thoughts or feedback for us of Dance on Screen, we are very happy to hear from you. You find us on danceonscreen.ch, send us an email or find us on the social media. We will be very eager to hear from you. So if you like the program, please recommend it to your friends and your network on demand at ARTHOUSE KINOS, myfilm.ch. I would like to thank you very much, our partners, ZÜRICH TANZT. Thank you for being such a great partner already for the 3rd year. And thank you for streaming our program this year. And thank you, ARTHOUSE, also for being a partner, and of course, CINEDANS Fest. I hope you enjoyed, and see you back. Enjoy also Zürich Tanz mit dir. It's still on until the 30th of May. Thank you. Goodbye.